Welcome to episode 4 of my playthrough of Titan, which is a modded world by Merc. It's not a binary mod, you can just subscribe in the Steam Workshop and there we go. Even though in his video you could see that there were mountains and there was also not constant rain, I think, which is something that developed recently because Rocketworks had been working on implementing terraforming for a mod that would for an expansion that we would have to pay, and that will only be released once it hits version 1.0. You know, I mean Stationeers hits 1.0, and so since it's minus 170 degrees out there, volatiles are becoming liquefied, and so we basically have rain all the time. I already turned down the volume of the game from 100% to 80%, which does mean something here, because Rocketworks are one of the very few developers out there who are not too stupid to implement volume sliders properly. Atmosphere is 90%, 95% nitrogen, 5% volatiles, and if you go mining out there, you will only get very few resources. You start with a deep miner actually, so that's one of the first things you set up so that you actually get some resources. This thing consumes a lot of electricity and so forth, so the challenges here are very different, and if I want to empty out my furnace, that stuff might actually freeze in the chimney and destroy it, which is something that actually happened to me. How do we get oxygen then? Well, I have 2 tanks. One of them is already empty because I actually gave that to the station atmosphere at some point, very late. I mean, we are about 14 hours into this playthrough. And the other can still be used for me to refill my breathing tank. And, well, there's supposedly water ice buried deeply in the planet, so that's a hypothetical source for O2. And I already have steel, so I could start building a trading platform maybe. And but the manufactories are still tier 1, so I haven't yet upgraded them. I don't have those things yet because my key problem right now is the furnace, like I described. But I thought of a solution for that. Then I would build the station battery, which is something I can print right now, and then would have to aim for upgrading the manufactories and for CO2 to O2 conversion. That's the current situation. We also have some what's this? I didn't even read this before. Get silicon, make insulated pipes, produce O2. Yeah, those are priorities I currently have here. Anyway, so we have some plants here. I can even eat some potatoes now, so we are living off of the planet. Yeah, it's a very cool cooling solution. I didn't have the resources yet to make radiators for pipes, but hey, pipes don't need radiators to exchange thermal energy with the environment. And so what I did is I just used a lot of pipes here, and the same is there on the outside where the planet is. And that's how I exchange thermal energy then. This is for cooling. But I have the same thing on the opposite side here. Heat. That's at least the plan. So I would exchange the thermal energy from the furnace here into this pipe, which would have... or does it already have that? Yeah, nitrogen, and there's actually volatiles in there. I'm not sure if there's something I want. How did this happen? Did some pipe burst? What's the temperature? Minus 7 degrees. No, if it would have burst, then it would be colder. This is shielded from the planet. It is all within frames. This is a frame, this is a box that would open to heat up the atmosphere here, which, as you can see, doesn't work yet because it's still too cold, that stuff. Well, there's some... basically the idea is to have some kind of infinite gas storage that can keep heating up. I mean, you can see here we have 1.4 megapascals, which means there's basically no gas here, only 800 liters of pipes and such. But that's not true, because the pipe is broken intentionally, not here, but in the room over there, which is completely shielded, where I would then just store heat. And whenever the station would be too cold, I would automatically open that door. Whenever it's too hot, I would automatically open this door, which is very effective. I mean, if I open this, let's do that for a second. right? I mean, it's really cold. I mean, it's minus 170 degrees out there. This is just one little room cooling with just a bunch of pipes. So yeah, if the station would overheat significantly, that would be a problem. We would have to be patient and such. But in principle, that works, this approach. So we have heat and cold solved in conceptually. So here we can see there was a chimney here, and then it died because it was just too cold. The cold was creeping into this pipe, the gases were freezing, and then I suddenly had some crap here in my station, which I then sucked up here with this dude, which is already relatively full. And I thought, well, maybe I should make a chamber up there into which I then release the furnace gases, and then when that has happened, I open the chamber to the planet, because that's not a problem then if stuff freezes. Use a chamber as a pipe. But then I realized just before starting the recording of this video, of this episode right now, that's retarded. All I have to do is put an active vent there and use that to empty out these pipes. Then I don't even need a valve here. I would only have to, you know, like turn on and off this vent with logic. That's basically the only hurdle here. So that's what I'm gonna do. Already found an active vent lying around here. And where will I put that? Well, maybe I should first solve the logic. So let's get a logic switch. If I already... What's this? Computer. I actually accidentally printed two. Yeah, it's very cramped, as my bases, as my stations usually are. But I mean, this one really, we're still in survival mode. I just barely made food in the previous episode, and I think it was the previous one. And now we can breathe in here, which means I'm not constantly blowing through tanks, which I then have to refill and such. So it's, I mean, you can see the pressure is 91 kilopascals. Oh, I thought it was rather low. Yeah, most of it is nitrogen. What's this? That's an electrolyzer that I could use to turn water into O2. Very hot O2, obviously. And then I would need a filtration unit, and the volatiles I could just pump those out, because the planet has infinitely much of that, so yeah. But let's start with let's solve the furnace first, because it's one of the most basic tools we need, furnacing. Yeah, let's make the logic things. I don't even have a tool manufactory yet, so... I would have to use a logic switch. Do I have gold? I currently don't. Yes, I do. I have a furnace here, and it's automated. It's on the outside, so the gases will all get lost, even including the oxygen. But oxygen I only get from gold, so who really cares? I mean, how much is that really? Oh, that was actually the wrong switch. That was wrong. I meant the chip that has a switch built in, which is, of course, the kit Logic I/O. Okay, I'm thirsty. Do we have a water source? Yes, we do. And how much water do we have here? 100-ish liters, which is plenty. And I want to keep filling that up, because I want to draw from that water source. You can see here there's a pipe to pipe into this dude. Why is the pipe not sticking out of the wall, I wonder? Shouldn't it do that? But apparently it doesn't. Not complaining. So I need, like I wrote here, silicon to make insulated pipes, because I need insulated water pipes. Do I have silicon? I do, actually. 1 gram. Oh, that's basically nothing. That's not good. Electroprinter? No, where do I have to go? Here. 2 silicon, not enough. What do we have here? 10 silicon. So silicon is really one big concern. Let's see, I have here the deep miner, which keeps farting out raw ore. And this thing can... more than 2 centrifuges are necessary to entirely serve the output. So I have 3 here. There's basically nothing of relevance in here. Also here. Also here. Of course I'm waiting for silicon. I was already out there trying to find some. And yes, I found some. I found some iron, some gold, stuff like that. But it's really, really hard to find. There's basically nothing out there. We really have to lean into the deep miner. So that's what I'm doing. In other words, we need to spend time. But I guess until time has passed and I have some silicon, I would probably already have... I would probably be able to do interesting stuff here, so yeah. Here we have a cable that goes there. Maybe it's a bit risky to have a door here that can just open whimsically. That was... yeah, that's an emergency measure because this dude is of course hot. And I use this guy to heat up the station. So that's the thing. And I have a cooling solution now, like over there at the door, but is that strong enough to cool down the station once this guy is running? I don't know. But I mean, the idea also is to cool this thing using the thermal energy exchange here to get my hot room over there. Doesn't change the fact that this room would become rather hot. And I would then blow through my air tank. It's all very on edge. Everything is balanced on the edge of the knife, and maybe I'm doing things wrong, maybe I could do them differently. Yeah, of course, I'm not claiming that I'm doing it perfectly. Just because I have a big-ish Stationeers channel and they're pretty successful news videos and such, doesn't mean, hey, he's the Stationeers guy. No, I'm not. See, for example, yesterday on the German channel I recorded a video with the user SBU86. The first time ever that I have had a collaboration video, and that guy had, I think, if I understand correctly, learned Stationeers by watching my beginner video over there, which was 7 hours long and basically almost tripled the amount of subscribers, 12,000 views on a very small channel, which has now about 400 subscribers. This one currently has about 2,150 or so subscribers, and then he started basically imitating my starter base, but I mean, at the beginning you have to, you know, but then very quickly branched out and built a pretty awesome base, better than anything I have ever made, and that was before we then recorded that video where he had expanded upon it considerably again. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So, like I said, I'm not the Stationeers guy. Okay, that looks good. Let's plant this guy on the outside so we can experience that for a second. And now, temperature drops from nothing to minus 144. Yeah, I've seen minus 172, so... Also, I mean, not 2. Okay, then we pump to the outside. That is already done. Nice. The default setting is the one that pumps to the outside of the pipe network. Yeah, the pressure out there is Venus level high. That is why I have a frame there, and a frame there, and a frame there, and a frame there, and why I'm using the composite doors, which can go up to 250, I believe. 300 kilopascals, and the glass door only up to 200. So we have a pressure of over 200 out there. So expanding the station is always tricky business, because for that you have to first pump the dangerous atmosphere away. But this means you have a vacuum. So yeah, it's really living on edge here, right? What was I doing? Right. Do I have some pipes? I do. I do! No! Okay, nothing bad's happening, as long as there's no pipe on the other side. Whoa. Okay, if I do this now with an uninsulated pipe, there will be consequences. That will be on the outside and thus will be leaking in the cold. Something I do not want. I already have some leaking here and there, I think. I mean, the temperature is already at 19 degrees and it will keep dropping. So yeah, we're really on the clock here. Or maybe that was not the best move.
Power critical.
That would be better. Because nothing's drawing from that guy there, other than the doors. Do I not have insulated pipes? Also, I'm wondering, is there something I could do against the coal leaking? There is a place where coal leaks in? I see here I didn't have a passive vent, so I just made one. Because it's so easy with this, with these conditions. Super cold and slightly more pressure, shazam, the gas freezes. And that's why the temperature of this planet is so high relatively. That's also written on Merck's page. Because, I mean, otherwise you would constantly have ice falling down, which kills the engine, you know. Do we not have another insulated pipe somewhere? No, we do not. But I can print one. If I have steel, which I don't. Do I have a stacker here? No, also not. Really, very much raw beginner situation still. Insulated pipe. How many can we make? 2, I think. So let's only make 1. The only one I need. The furnaces are already fully automated. As is the furnaces, the centrifuges are already fully automated. As is the arc furnace and the grow light. How are the plants doing? I have to keep considering that. Seeds, seeds, seeds. Moderately well towards fruiting. Okay, that's good enough then. I think that should be enough if I just connect that down here. By the way, these rain animations, they are certainly off-putting, aren't they? They are always indoors also, and there's nothing I can do against them. I mean, okay, maybe I can turn down the weather quality rendering. Maybe that does something useful. should be kick in a few seconds. Yeah, I guess it's more sporadic now. Maybe that makes it less painful. Though, in a way, it's kind of like Chinese water torture. Okay, let's screw this thing then. Alright, maybe I should give this vent a name. Vent, furnace. This one evacuates the furnace. Yeah, this I use to get some nitrogen to get the atmosphere hotter, but primarily to get the pressure higher, so that it wouldn't be so risky to expand the station, because this is an expansion here. The station was only this big before. Then I added this section over here, and then I also added this furnace room. Why did I make it this high? I don't quite remember. I had some wicked plans here, I guess. Plans change, this is Stationeers. Yeah, for example, yesterday in that video with SBU86, he was showing me the station that took like half an hour or longer, and then we were making some advanced alloys, and then we thought, hey, we need some better fuel source, because one of the advanced alloys we couldn't make because, you know, it wasn't possible with the resource that we had. We needed actual fuel gas. So we were starting to build a fuel mixer, and then while we were doing that, for reasons that we still don't know, kaboom, something exploded, and half the gas facility, which only has large tanks and tons of pipes and filtration and so forth, really impressive, is destroyed. Vent furnace selected. Variable to write whether it is on. Come on. Yeah, whether it is on. So turn this on. I cannot. Why not? Does this cable not have power? There's power here. What's happening? Oh, right. Okay, that's not ideal. Too bad I can't duck. I would like to know what the connection there is. Okay, there with the power connection, and there I would have to turn it upside down so that the power is here, but I would constantly have that thing upside down, which is also fugly. Let's suffer it like this then. Is there still something in this pipe? Yes, there is. So, let's see what happens if I toggle this. Aha, we can see the vent is on. The pressure is still... Oh god, no, I forgot something. Of course, the pressure outside is higher than 100 kilopascals, so I would also have to write the max pressure value. Well, that's something I can easily do with logic. I already have an IC10 running.
Hangar caution.
So let's do that then. No! ...100 megapascals. Let's see, that's 1000. 1000 kilopascals, so that's 1 megapascal, 100 megapascals. Export. And off, because I don't have an automatism here yet. Aha, okay, the measure is working and we will not have the problem of freezing pipes. One big concern solved. Nice. Yeah, it's empty enough, there's nothing of relevance in there left. Hey, what happens if I do this? Nothing. Oh yeah, then it turns on, interesting. Or if I turn this off, nothing of relevance happens. Okay, so that I cannot just reduce that to one click or something. What I could do, of course, is I could use a switch like I accidentally printed it and use the IC10, which is running anyway, because that is on the whole time. Oh, let's do that then. I will just unscrew this entire thing. Maybe I should have done that right away. I mean, there's a lamp right next to it that indicates whether it's on, so I don't have to resort to using the lever, which of course by its physical 3D shape expresses that. I think the switch here is fine. Vent furnace. Vent furnace evacuation. Copy. Switch furnace evacuation.
Hydration critical.
SBU86 also showed me, I mean I should have known that by now, but I'm such a lazy guy. That's why I always start new playthroughs. I want new stimulus, you know? Instead of doing what he's doing, which is better. He showed me that you can easily make French fries, and then later he changed even to using bread, both of which are giving a lot of food quality here, so you can sustain yourself for longer. I know the mechanism, of course, but I never really employed it. I never really tested that. So, what I play through that at some point I would like to do, but first I have to like change my overall approach. I have to become more consistent, you know. I always change from A to B to Z. I need a new playthrough, I need a new thrill ride and so forth. Once that maybe changed at some point, I want to make a playthrough with where I first land with a robot, build up a station where a human can survive, and then I want to land with a human, which I can. I pointed that out and showed how exactly to do that in the most recent Stationeers news video. That is actually called Stationeers News, you know. Like a month ago or so, I don't know. And then I want to land with a Zrillion afterwards. And, you know, I also have to store the robot, I have to store the human. That's how I want to play it. That's a real long-term game. I would like to do that, but I don't see myself actually doing it, so I'm not starting. That would be stupid. Hey, look at this long-term game that I'm starting. Oh, it's not long-term again. Oh. So, foods, seeds, towards seeding, seeding. But one has already seeded. How much seed do we have here? Is what she said. And then we have one potato. Oh, maybe I already ate the other one. That's possible. So, well, let's replant with seeds, which is what she said. And let's do that. Okay, programming. And saving. I will pause this because it's nice to have a moment of quiet and I want to just freeze that moment. I think if I would pause while the storm is going or the rain is going, that wouldn't really turn off the sound, I think. Damn, I could have done that while programming. Stupid me. Yeah, I mean, old habits die hard. This wasn't possible for a long time. Switch. That's the one I'm actually using. So, structure, logic, switch 2. Oh, that's stupid. That unpauses it? Come on, Rocket Rocks. Should I define that up here? Yeah, let's just do that. Damn, why do I not have... Oh yeah. Okay, then I need to load from the switch what its state is and apply that to the vent. Problem solved. Huh, I don't know. Is it open? Is it setting? Well, for the lever it's open. But for the switch? I don't know. I'll just, you know, test it, see what happens. Here we can also set the mode, why not? Mode 0, which is the default. Easy to remember that 0 is the default. And that the default is harmless is also a good association. I mean, you stand in a box, there's an active vent, it will not kill you by sucking the air away, it will pump air in. Not that this is inherently safer, but can be associated to be on R0. Alright. Works, doesn't consume extra power. Nice. And no extra cabling either. Okay, the next thing on my agenda was station battery. Let's do that then. I mean, this is basically the game giving me the finger, right? I wanted steel, but now we put out this stuff first, and how much do we have? 11 grams. Do I already have a station battery somewhere? A kit computer, logic I/O. No, pretty much not. And that will then be plastered here. Gold and copper. 20 grams copper, do we have that? We do. And while that's printing... not enough gold. Oh, okay. God damn it, I don't have enough gold. Shit. That's not helpful. Neither is this, man. Still doesn't work? Come on! Okay, let's say, writer. That should do the trick. There's that. Then we go to this kit. And this is the kit that I didn't need. How much gold? Only 1 gold. Okay, so it's not like I cursed myself by printing that one thing that I didn't need to print. Hey, wait, what's that? Ah, right. I had actually programmed these guys as follows. They will empty themselves automatically, and also when there's nothing to do, nothing additional, then it will just power down. So that's what we have here. Then we have 4 gold. There's no nothing. 1 gold and 5 gold. So while this thing is off anyway, why not do this? Let's see if it automatically closes. It doesn't. Interesting. So, where's my arc furnace? That is happening automatically. Some more copper. Lots of iron, actually. Hey, I need to make steel at some point. How? Okay, we have prepared steel. Almost. Why is the coal not complete, man? That's a catastrophe. Why is there coal missing from every stack of coal? Damn it. Oh. I don't remember if I had some kind of explosion of fire going on here, but I guess that's the explanation for there to be some stacks being incomplete and there being some damage. I mean, what other explanation would there be? A bug, yeah, something can always say, but I mean, regarding what it is, Stationeers is kind of ridiculously bug-free. Yeah, now I have done a thing that I actually didn't want to do. That wasn't wise. So 50-50-50, 50-50-50, oh, that's fine, okay. That should have done the trick. Everything is at 50, and everything is somewhat damaged. Maybe that wasn't the wisest move, but I mean, who cares really? So there's enough steel here, I don't have to keep that iron around for those purposes. What else came out? I think it was coal, haha, 2 of them. And now we should have gold, we do. So we can print the battery. And again, we have that stupid sound. I wish I could turn that off. Some kind of hack, maybe? Let me just check something. Does the sound pipe down? Okay, I have located the save game installation, the installation tree. Now I will look through that with the unfathomably beautifully awesome software that I keep advertising for, so to speak, which is free, so it's not an advertisement in this sense, and also they don't pay me. And I'm only saying that because it's fucking awesome and everybody should use it and should be built into Windows as a default, which is the software called Everything. The first search hit when you Google for that, which should tell you something for such a generic term. And I keep showing that also in my videos, or I have done so at least 2 times. So now I have pasted the path of the installation tree in there, and now I have a list of all the files not on my computer and folders, which is 3.7 million objects, and then I have this box here where I can type something and instantly, like without delay, really instantly, the list filters down from 3 million to 1.8 million to and then we have 24 objects. That is that kind of software. It doesn't search in the files, it searches only in the names. So that's the downside maybe, but on the other hand, the scanning is ultra fast. It takes like 4 or 5 seconds for my entire machine. I don't know how they do that. They might be reading some kind of system level directory instead of all the directory blocks for the individual files as it's normally done. I don't know. Anyway, so now we have all the files of Stationeers here in the list. Let's see if I can find something in regards to sounds. Yeah, let's for example use a filter audio : nothing. Okay, so I suspect that either it's in a format that is not recognized as an audio file here. Are you trying to annoy me? I just changed the channel for less annoyance. and or maybe it is the classic Doom big package thing where you have large files. For example, here we have a resources assets res.is thing file, which is almost 2 gigabytes in size. I assume that the sound files will be in there. Maybe they had. I mean, it's pretty cool how Doom handled that back then, and I mean, then for some reason games changed their approach. I don't know, but anyway, for Doom we have a zip file which has a directory tree inside and all the zipped assets like sounds and such. Then the game loads and unpacks that into memory and only the parts that it needs. But you can also create a real directory and tree in parallel, which mirrors the one that is in the zip file, and then you can put only mirror those directories that you're interested in, and you put only the files in that you're interested, and those files will then be loaded instead of the ones in the zip file package. I wonder if that's still a thing with Unity, which of course this is probably a resource pack off. That would be pretty cool, because then there would be a way to find out what that fucking sound is and replace it with silence or with something that is much less loud. And that's what I was just trying to, become aware of. Okay, let's move on. I could make steel, but yeah, for that I would have to have fuel. I have fuel here. Quite a lot even. I think with that I can go smelt a lot, right? I have never done that with that fuel canister, so I don't know how much I can get out of that. So I could actually build a platform here, put it on there, and then a pipe here to the input with a valve that I would just have to toggle on and off and hope that this is sufficient to... I could also use a volume pump, and that's very careful, blah blah blah, but maybe a valve is really enough to do that. Or would I then look pretty stupid pretty quickly? I mean, more than usually. I don't know. So let's put a wall in there and just try that. Start building that. I have changed the recipe to electron splitter. Very good. What just happened? Iron fill. And, well, there's something I wanted to say at the beginning of the video actually is this episode 4 comes a long time after episode 3. How long? Well, let's see. Titan. The first 2 Titan episodes, both of them, were actually published on the February the 9th of this year, 2025. The third one came on the 12th, but today we have already the 13th of April 2025. So why the long face? Well, why the long pause? Because, I follow my mood basically, and that is something I cannot get out of. I cannot just jerk myself into direction A, B or C. Other people can do that, I cannot. The reason that I can't is that I've, cleaned up the cacophony of my will/emotion, which is the same thing, I keep explaining that. I have unified that more than it was earlier, or that on the average human level, I guess, so that when on the one hand, I can lean into my emotion. It is a good compass, it's a good guidance system, and this also means I can't but really follow it. But that's a meaningful and positive thing. For example, yesterday I thought, God damn it, I haven't played through Cyberpunk 2077 completely. Maybe half, I don't know how far. And I haven't played that in over a year, or maybe I don't know how long, very long, And I thought, dude, I want to play that thing again. And you know what, I'm going to start over. And so yesterday I installed that, even though my hard disk space isn't too big these days. I still decided to do that. Now it's installed. But this morning I did not decide to play it then. Instead, I decided to record this video, because my mood said, that's the thing you want to do now. I need a wall. There's an iron wall. I could use glass here, but I think it's ridiculous. So let's do this instead. Now that has been built, quasi, I have an indication later for what I want to do. Oh, kit logic memory. Oh, there were more logic IO kits. Damn! Yes, I did waste. And now I'm looking for a portables connector. There is a power connector here, but not a portables connector. Why do I not have a portables connector? Shouldn't I have one somewhere? Yes, I do, and that's the one that's used here. But don't we start with 2? Yeah, we start with 2, but this is Merc's mod, so maybe that's not the case here. Oh, the silence. Blissful silence. Well, let's make the container mount then. A portable connector, I mean. By the way, this is hard difficulty. I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the video. I mean, it's not like, hey, this is important, everybody listen up, it's hard difficulty. Hey, did you know he plays that on hard difficulty? Everybody come over to this channel, subscribe, like immediately, for he's playing that on hard difficulty. Also, suck his cock and drink his delicious semen. No, that is not what that fucking is about. It's just that when I started this video, I first was taking a look around, and there's also when I realized that the solution to the furnace problem was actually much simpler than I thought. And so then I made some plans, and I thought, hey, you know what, let's just write them down in a small notepad window, and then I just fixed that with switched that to always on top, and that was levitating on the screen. And one of the things I wrote down was facts about this world and about this playthrough. And one of those facts was that it's hard difficulty. And now I just remembered, oh shit, you didn't say that part yet. Well, what else did I write down? Titan, non-binary mod, temperature, planetary atmosphere, mix, water ice buried, cyberpunk 77, yep, that was actually a point I wanted to make. Furnace active vent, station battery, upgrade manufacturers, yeah, okay, everything is set. Next, nice. Okay, now we have this. I would have to have a... And I shouldn't connect that here. That would be deceptive. Do I have a valve here? Wait, didn't I just remove a valve over there? Yes, I did. So I have a valve. Or is it not lying around? There it is. Nice, nice, nice. Well, the closer to the furnace the valve is, the less gas storage. Well, I mean, if I put the valve up here, then I would have a long pipe that I would trigger to be full-ish whenever I open this slightly, or when I open this for a moment and then close it again. But here, the amount of gas that would then ultimately be in the dangerous zone. And the danger part would be smaller, so I put the valve down there then. Yeah, that was stupid. So I think I just lost some fuel. That sucks. I should have placed this guy over here. But I thought it would be good to have some kind of platform to work here. Okay, whatever, let's make the pipe around the corner then. Make it less allergen, better than losing fuel. which is currently irreplaceable because of the oxygen content. Okay, now we would lose a lot more fuel. Of course, these furnace runs have to be planned because the furnace will also be used to give some thermal energy here to my heating system. And you can see here that the system is not yet complete because definitely... Oh look, minus 6 degrees instead of -7. Okay, now I know a big source of the cold here in this station is plain simply my heating system, which is currently rather a cooling system, and here is not insulated. Yeah. And because I don't have the silicon to make insulated pipes. Or do I? This one's empty still. Here we have 2 grams of silicon. And 2 grams of silicon. Very, very slow. I should get another deep miner, right? But I'm not yet that far that I could print one or support one. So the next step, I think, is indeed the battery. Currently we don't have a storm. One thing I think that's missing here from Stationeers is like a bucket. Or, you know, like a bathtub kind of thing. You can just put there. It is a physical container. You can toss things in like this, and then they will lie around in there. Of course, you can shape one by using pipes. I don't know if I want to go there. That's an interesting take, but then it will also be kind of invisible. Or will it be? What's in there? Not now. So, battery goes exactly here, directly connected to the wall, not in the wall, but at this place that would start. It's 2 blocks. Here would be the cable in the station, which incidentally it already is. So that is nice. That fits very, very well. I just would have to move that dude. So we're looking good. Do I have the materials to do this? Do I have a steel sheet? I think I was climbing over one the whole time. It's in some corner. Here. 4 steel sheets. How fitting. Before I unbuild something, what do I need? The kit and 2 steel sheets. Okay. Time to build then. Let's see if the tools have enough power. There's also a potential failure that could happen. Yep. Yep. Yep-ish. I can understand people. It's, my God, humans are stupid. I mean, just keep coming up with that. For example, in elections, why the fuck do we not vote for the thing that we want done? Why do we instead vote for people? Who came up with that completely ridiculously stupid idea, which which explodes in our faces like 100 times in a decade all over the globe? That's just so super dumb. Anyway, How the fuck did I leave there? I don't even remember. I can understand people who complain that you have to do all the fiddly things with the tools here in Stationeers. But I think one can get used to that pretty quickly, and then it becomes... it kind of becomes the zen of the game. You live in the moment. I have said that a few times, which is a good thing. Wait, what am I doing? Aha, okay. And I think they have a good balance here of fiddly stuff versus just smooth building and experience and survival. It's just such, I mean, many people probably can share the following notion, which is that first you create the tension and then you're not speaking the sentence. That's always annoying, isn't it? So let's change topic. No. The notion that you build something in Stationeers, but then that's interrupted by something else, and that's interrupted by something else until you return to the original thing and you're 10 hours further in. And you can wrap yourself into this reality and can just keep going for 10, 20, 30, 40 hours. And that is something that is in part also caused by this fiddly stuff. But I'm not saying the fiddly stuff makes the gameplay longer. I'm saying the level of fiddliness and the overall rest of the experience is balanced well. It is meshing well to lead to you to an overall experience of living kind of locked into the moment in a very neat way. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say there.
Hydration critical.
Yeah, this auto-rotate should really be implemented better. I mean, implement is just some table, basically, some lookup table that's not completely defined. Because in this situation, there's certainly a suggestion that could be made by the table. Because currently, you know, can see that cable could connect there. So there's some reasonable expectation that I might have in regards to what this auto-rotate does. But alas, we have to live with the fucked up fact that this is, idiotically, a niche game. Why is this a niche game, man? Why are the people globally still so disabled? Why is there not a larger audience for this unimaginably awesome, beautiful, and sadly still fucking unique game? God damn it, man. And that's the reason that that the sales are so low. So they always have to cross-finance that with other projects, primarily Icarus, which is the big project that they have going there. And so they have to really focus their development, like I keep saying. And so this means that anything that isn't maximally... You have to think about this like a war. In a war, what is your prioritization? It depends on the immediate strategic situation, of course. And a strategic situation certainly is not. People will buy this game a lot more if this cable rotation automatism is implemented better. See, and from that perspective, yeah, they're working on the terrain system, and I don't know what's coming, after that, because the terrain system will keep them busy for a while. It's a very complex thing for which they have made complex plans, of course. But I think the situation is so complex that you cannot plan out the entire thing, and no matter how good you are, and therefore they will have to like dynamically adapt what's necessary. Yeah. Okay, so now we have potatoes. And I have 6 potatoes. I will replant 2 of them and 2 with seeds. Because I want more seeds, is what she said. But also, I want to build up our reservoir of potatoes. That they are displaying this decimal place here in this, that's completely ridiculous. That doesn't belong there, it's just superfluous. But I mean, there are so many things here that needs to be changed. I think the original spirit going in here was, of course, well, let's make a 3D first-person version of Space Station 13, which is what Stationeers is. That's the goal. And internally, what am I saying internally? They are saying on the Discord even that they, as a developer team, see this game primarily to be a multiplayer game, which makes, of course, the amount of bugs that we still have in the multiplayer parts of this game pretty ridiculous. But I mean, the fact that we can, it's also something I said a few times, the fact that we can play this game for hundreds, for thousands of hours already, and it's so much fun, is a testament to their quality as a development studio, to the stability of their source code. I mean, this is, for example, a beta version. Not the current beta version, because as you know, that has a new terrain system, and I'm playing the old one, obviously, here. But a beta version of an early access game, and I record videos of 7 or 8 hours with that in part, without crashing, without anything, just keep going. And a game that is also, simulation-wise, game simulation, well, simulation-wise, more complex than any other game out there. Okay, there's Dwarf Fortress, alright, maybe, yeah, okay, fine. It's tricky, because, I mean, Dwarf Fortress doesn't really have a real-time simulation, I think. Or, okay, let's not go into the stupid details. Anyway, one of the most complex simulation games in the world, definitely. And it doesn't crash. But anyway, so early access, beta game, and it's a testament to their quality as a development studio that we can play this already this deeply and that it is this fun. But this gives us, and this is, please listen, this is something you should listen, should accept if you haven't already, and please even infect others with that conviction, with that knowledge, because I think it's pretty pivotal, it's pretty important, is the following. That this gives us the delusion that this is the game. It's not the game. This is a step towards the game, which will be pretty similar to this one. Okay, so it's kind of the game, but it's not like this is a complete game, except they haven't yet ironed out some bugs. This is a very early this is an early access game, and so things will change significantly still. And so when we think, why is this not yet done? Why is that not yet done? Why is the French translation not yet done? Why is there this decimal place here when this thing counts up? Why is there this magical? Why there are still so many magical devices in the game? Like, for example, the jetpack, which is certainly a magical device. And so the answer to all of those questions is because the game is far from fucking finished, man, and they also have to focus their efforts to the immediate war strategic situation. Yeah, that's all. Silicon 2, Silicon 2. Okay, now we have a battery here, so I think we could afford a second one of these, but I don't think we have the materials for that. Deep miner, I think I need an advanced manufactory for that. Tire 2, and oh yeah, tire 2. So that's one thing I should aim towards now. The tire 2 stuff, and then of course also a tool manufactory. So I can have a fast mining drill, which I might indeed use, because I had mined some silicon out there. So maybe I can mine more. Once we have a fast drill, that might be feasible. Therefore, what place could I use for the tool manufactory? I feel like I want to print a second battery right away, but I don't have the necessary gold, so I'm not going to do that. Right, okay, well, what is this? This cable, I think, goes directly there to the wind turbines, and of course also to the solar fuel generator. So this airlock is actually not powered by the station battery. That's pretty ridiculous. I never do this, but I will not change this now because, I mean, this seems pretty stable. This works. Why though is the battery here so low? I think it was at 10% or so, and then I swapped it with my own battery, so I've wasted so much electricity in here. That's what's going on. Everything is growing. Thriving even. 19 degrees room temperature. Advanced. Where would I put the tool manufactory? I could put it basically with its backside here, but then all that stuff would rain down onto the tool manufactory. That's not good. There's no room here either. There's just no space here. Here I made some space for the centrifuges, and I think I need to expand this because there need to be more centrifuges because I need more materials, so I need another deep miner. So that's what's coming, so I cannot put the tool manufactory there. Where else could I fucking put it, man? There's no room. Maybe we can move something, then I have room. The computer, for example. Can it be in a different place? The tool manufactory, how wide is it? Meep, meep, meep. Okay, let's see. Meep. Oh, that would leave us enough space. Meep. I think I can just place it here. Okay, let's make the tool manufactory. And some very few people have complained, in quotation marks, that the videos that I record are sometimes, well, pretty long. And in the case of 7 hours, I see that, though I don't care. But in the case of a 3 or 4 hour videos, I don't see that. Because, I mean, this is Stationeers. Everything takes long and is fiddly. Or maybe other people can play this quicker than I do. Okay, that's fine, maybe. But in principle, I think the game really eats your time. And so a video, to contain anything of meaning, also needs to be somewhat longer. I mean, I also have 5 and 20 and 30-minute videos, but those have the purpose of teaching something. Tutorials, or they are cut so that there's only the meat and not, for example, right now, the downtime. Can I even make the alloys that I'm thinking about? There's nickel 13. And do I have some nickel here by accident? No, that's our copper. How much nickel do we have here? None, which is fewer, a little less than I wanted. And 1. Okay, so we have no nickel basically. Nickel, I believe, though, is necessary for Invar. Yep, and Constantin. So that's a problem, we need to find nickel. That's a hard problem, man. I need more deep miners for it, but see, that's the thing. I'm in a balanced... I'm basically in a deep valley right now, in all directions equally. That's due to Merc's world configuration here, and I like it. It's cool to have a very different playthrough experience and to have to slowly... I mean, the leveling up, so to speak, in any game, including Stationeers, is one of the key fun components. And the leveling up experience here in this world is significant. Very slow, but it is happening. So I think Merc came up with a very beautifully balanced mod here. I can really recommend this Titan mod, man. Yep. 1 iron sheet. Oh, let's print some. I still have plastic sheets, unfathomably. Yeah, the pneumatic mining drill is in here because I realized I could use that for mining. It's much faster than the other one. And, well, we have unlimited gas available, you know? I mean, planetary gas. We're not on the moon or something. So I could use that stupid gas to actually fill a canister and then go mining quickly. So we don't need this guy now to have a fast mining drill. I could just use a pneumatic mining drill. Yeah. Maybe that's... Hey, look at that. Saturn. of which Titan is a moon. In reality also. Probably doesn't look like this, nah. So what's the next step? Oh man, they're still on? I'm stupid. I should have been off. No, I'm doubly stupid. Now they're off. What is happening? Yeah, what's the next step? I worked on getting oxygen with... Oh, now we have 21 degrees, probably from the welding action, I guess. Though, how that much? Could the temperature rise that much just by welding? That's weird. Or is it just the temperature, the station temperature overall is increasing because we have so many electrical devices? That may well be the case. Okay. Anyway, I know I turned on the cooling thing in the beginning, but to demonstrate it, but the station temperature was already at 19. Pretty sure. Okay, so that's the electrolyzer. I cannot feed water into it because I don't have insulated pipes. I don't need insulated pipes, though. I can just pipe the... just use... Well, the ceiling is already the insulation problem. I mean, there's not enough space here to just pipe... Could I do that on the ground here? Oh, the ground is insulated. That is something I could do. Straighten out this cable. And, yeah, that's a possibility. So instead of piping the water out there, I could pipe it through here. So then I could remove the volatiles and I would get oxygen. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that. Can I put pipes there? Do I have pipes? I can put pipes there. And can this be used to pump water? I think so. It's convecting a lot of millijoules and is radiating a lot of millijoules. I wonder why. I mean, how warm is the water in there? 9 degrees. Why then is this pipe 800? Maybe this pipe over there needs to go. Maybe that is actually already going to the outside without me actually seeing it for some stupid reason. That may be the case. Let's see what the bleeding values are now. Oh. Oh, look at that. Convected -2, radiated 6. Oh, I have to have this cable, this pipe there. Because it goes there to my water bottle filler. Yeah, and so this constantly leaks out thermal energy, which is what we're seeing there, though it's millijoules. Maybe that doesn't really matter. What about the station temperature of 21 degrees? I wish I had a higher resolution of seeing that. Well, that wish can be granted. Let's make an LED. And when I say 1, I mean 3. Consoles, I mean. To have a super high decimal place. Do I need 3? Is that really conducive? It depends. If it's very, very, very slowly changing, then yes it is. Huh. For that I need gold. Which I don't have. Ah, this guy started up again. Because these two are now full to the brim. Or rather, this guy was filling this one, and then there was a traffic jam. And so it also filled that one, and there was traffic jam, and that also filled this one, until there was not enough stuff left. Because about 2.3, I believe, centrifuges can be supplied by one deep miner. So this one ran dry. Now it's not dry. So that works nicely. With the automatic turn off, cool. Hey, let's look at the source code for a second, for those interested. I'm saying this is the centrifuge I care about, and I say deal with it. Mep, mop, mep, mop. How do I deal with them? I find out whether the input slot of the centrifuge is occupied. If it is occupied, then I skip these lines, 1, 2, 3. If it is not occupied, then I turn off the centrifuge and jump back to where we came from. So if it is occupied, then I switch it unconditionally on. Yeah. Then I'm loading whether it's currently open. When it is open, I jump down here and then I find out what the reagents are in there. If the reagents are still greater than 0 or not equal to 0, then I jump back to the caller. But otherwise, I close the centrifuge. But if the centrifuge was not open, then we check if there's an error. If there's not an error, then we return to the caller. If there's an error, we open the centrifuge. Very simple. Simple stuff. Okay, now I wanted to pipe a pipe here. What about this cable then? Well, what about this cable then? I can just use this one instead of having that stupid cable. So do that, yeah, good. One too many. It had to fucking happen. Oh, interesting. Do we still have magical cable multiplication in Stationeers? Okay, this thing could now theoretically be turned on.
Hydration critical.
And 0%, really? That's what you have to do here. Lol. So, plants are doing thriving, 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 thriving. Good. We have light, so the plants are solved in quotation marks. Pipes. Wait, okay, that was wrong. It's the output. Oh. Oh, okay, now I see why I would pipe that on the outside. But it's not really a hard reason, I don't think so. I can just go around the corner here. That's the input for a liquid pipe connection. I think though, what we can see here is that this doesn't look correct visually. Because I think the liquid pipe connection, I've taken a screenshot, is always... do we have an example here? Is always showing not the blueness, but this screw characteristic. But though this is an output, do we have an input here maybe for liquids? I don't think so, but I would just post it in the forum and maybe this wrong. See what happens. So. Pipes are cheap. Yeah, my keyboard is not standing in front of me. I don't know how other people play. It's far to the left of me. So, a bit tricky to type. Now we need to also adjust the cabling. Yeah, I guess my cable changes caused an interruption in the cable network calculation or whatever, and so the printing process was interrupted. I wish that wouldn't happen. I wish that there would be some solution to that, because that is indeed a problem in Stationeers. If I had $1 billion too many, which I don't. I have €1 billion instead. No, I don't. Okay, so there's a water pipe, and here we would have the output. I wonder what happens if I turn this on or arrow, of course. Yeah, what am I thinking? Too bad it's not saying what the arrow is, though it's kind of obvious. Now I need a filtration unit to split out the... Yeah, I mean... That means this thing is placed correctly when it comes to orientation, because I need to be able to look at this stuff. But I should have placed it more over here, and maybe I should do that just now. And place a filtration unit here instead. And then, not here, but one step further actually, because there needs to be a curved pipe here that goes to the outside, which it currently can't. Yeah, let's do that, let's do that. Do we have actually another atmospherics device that I could place now? I don't think so. Nope, have to print one, and that's an expensive one. Yeah, but it's also like omnipotent. 5 gold, 20 copper. We have the copper, easily. But the gold? I need 5 gold. Four gold, 10 gold. Let's just do the thing with the lever here. And that everything else is automated. It will slow down, which is a natural behavior of this thing, of course. And then it will spit out everything, which is a natural behavior, of course. But then the chip will realize, oh, we no longer have stuff in there, let's close that, which will then turn off the error. The error is from this thing being open, while it's supposedly also, while it's on, I mean, while it has to do stuff, which it can't. Or silicon, nickel, precious nickel. Ah yeah, and we just heard how it automatically closed. Okay, we have iron aplenty, no questions. But we don't have steel aplenty. It sounds as if maybe in this playthrough it would actually be meaningful to use more iron frames and iron sheets than to build everything with steel. Because steel needs to be made. My furnace, though, has a bit of a problem being indoors and all of that. Coal? Where do I get coal? Well, I guess coal comes from the deep miners also. Yep. Not too much though, I mean there's certainly a lot more iron here. So it sounds as if building with iron rather than steel would be more reasonable here for this playthrough. Now that's a new one. Huh. And there is the gold. Which I should have tossed in first, but okay. Yeah, battery's doing well. Nice. If I had too much gold to spare, which I obviously don't, I could immediately place another one next to it.
Power low.
And that's the next stupid rain. Annoying! Okay, what's the next step? We have, this thing needs to be moved. Let's move it then. I'd like to, yeah, I'm not gonna go there. He just did. No, I made you do it in your head, just like when someone says the N-word or the F-word and all that stuff, they make you say it in your head. Which is, of course, something I'm saying now, only because I heard that comedy bit by Louis C.K., who said the very same thing. You're making me say it! Interesting. Every time it recalculates the cable network, and that leads to these shocks. What am I doing? Something's wrong. Shouldn't there be a place here for that? Oh yeah, the labeler. No. Huh? Man, I really wanted the bigger tool belt. Do we have gold yet? No, we don't. Two potatoes already. So at some point I would have to build a greenhouse here to have a mass conversion of CO2 to O2. Where does the CO2 come from? Well, I would have burning processes which kill basically lots of my O2. And actually, you know what, I'm asking myself, I've never really done the science of the fuel gas that you put in there, that you set on fire, or not even in there necessarily, but generally when you burn fuel gas, how much CO2 do you get? Is that the exact same amount of O2 that was put in? In other words, of all the burning process that we artificially create here, intentionally, can we recover all of that CO2, all of the O2 that went into that? I don't know. That's something that someone should have figured out at some point. Probably has. I just don't know it. Yeah, energy-wise we're looking good. Though I should, in the future, I should use this one for my suit battery, because this one is obviously struggling to get charged entirely. And this is, I don't know where that's connected. Since it draws 1000 watts, it cannot really be connected to these wind turbines, which... Why do I not have a cable analyzer here yet? That's not nice. Then we have the indoor cable network, which I could just also put there. We have some kind of neat comparison kind of thing going on. Just look in one place, see it all. Can we print cable analyzers? Silicon, motherfucker. That's out of the question. I'm not gonna do that. Silicon is too valuable right now. Gold is still in the works. Alright. Yeah, let's move this guy. Or rather, let's not move it, let's put the atmospheric filtering unit here. else I would probably do it wrong again. Filtration, this direction, and placed here, so we can go around the corner, out the window, with an insulated pipe, which I can't yet afford. I would really like to be able to click on this thing now with the right mouse button so that it doesn't land in my hand, so it doesn't land in my hand, but instead lands in the inventory directly. And what I would also really like is for Rocketworks to really invest the money necessary to build a little bit on the tutorials, because they're one of the significant reasons people are not buying this game. They are saying, or they're downvoting this. Tutorials are shit, there are no tutorials. In tutorial 3 we're currently stuck in the ground. Yeah, that's because of the terrain refactor. Once that is over, they will hopefully fix... I think they will fix that one tutorial with priority. But I think there needs to be a little bit of more tutorials here. And particularly at the beginning of the first tutorial, they tell you, thankfully, that you have to press... this is the first thing they tell you. Press the left Alt key. And, you know, very important. And what they should also tell you, and that's what I'm talking about here, they should tell you that the right mouse button, which was, by the way, my suggestion, that's why they put that in, teleports items between your hand and the inventory. Before, we had the double click, but they removed that, and they said, dude, I understand why you removed that. I mean, they said this is because there was sluggishness introduced, because the system always had to wait out the defined double-click duration before it could move on. So that was sluggish. Now it's not. But the people will certainly object to that in some form, because we want our fast way to deal with that stuff. And then I thought, hey, you know what, let's suggest the right mouse button, and then so they did. And I think it's significant. It makes working with things significantly better. In other words, I want that to be, I mean, the fact that you can use the right mouse button, I want that to be expressed somewhere prominently. At the beginning, basically, of the first tutorial. Or when they're first talking about moving things between your inventory and your hands. Because it's so significant a change. Hello, Kit Atmospherics. No need for the copper to be lying around like this. Oh. And for the iron. So this goes out there. Wait, what am I saying? The filtration unit will filter straight what you want to filter. It will let out here what you have no filters for, the unfiltered stuff. And so I can just sort out all the dangerous gases, which in this case would only be volatiles, and that goes around here, the curve. That works. And here I can, well, for example, just pipe that upwards to fill the station with oxygen. Which is not the best way to go about it, but I could do that. And then I could have a different place where I refill my breathing tanks, and that could draw from the atmosphere. So we would use the atmosphere as the buffer, we would not, and as the piping system too, because I wouldn't have to pipe between the two. And it's also a wild card, because like a tank that's somewhere in a corner, only the oxygen I need anyway to breathe. So what's this? It's the input.
Hydration critical.
Now we need the H2 combustor. No, H2 combustor is the thing that burns fuel to create. That's what the word combustor says, right? It burns fuel to create water and pollutant, and it's very, very hot. The electrolyzer does the opposite. I don't know if I want to connect that directly. I mean, it has this one purpose, but will I regret that? If I build it over here, I might also regret that because there's no space. So let's build that here. Electrolyzer. Input for a liquid pipe. I don't know how efficient this will be in this pretty lame configuration, but how luxurious can I make it in this station at this point? I could use this to... Oh, that's cool. To get the cable through between the two devices. This place here. Can I make one other insulated pipe? That would be very cool. Insulated, please. And in this darkness here, I mean, it's not completely dark, but, you know, I can't see the keyboard well. Whatever's printed on it. I don't have a lit keyboard. I just have a cheap 20, 23, 24 euro cherry keyboard, and the, you know, the laptop style, as in very flat keys and flat, you know, how the amplitude that you have to press it down. Because I like it. I've been... I mean, I have... There was a phase when I was buying various keyboards, and then I tossed them aside, basically. They're just standing around here, not using them, because they're not good enough. I don't want that. I also don't like this idea of the clickety-click mechanical keyboards, which make it sound as if you're typing double the speed as if you're typing. Maybe there's really just some ego wanking thing going on while people are actually using those. But I might also do these people an incredible injustice by making such a claim, because maybe they have a merit that I just haven't yet detected. And I haven't really typed on one of those yet, other than typing, trying it for about 10 seconds at the office when someone else has been using such a thing. So yeah, that's that. And now we need a pipe call. Should I take this one? No. Or should I use the one that's still up there? I should use the one that's still up there, because it doesn't belong. It's fugly. Let's remove that. Also, let's use the opportunity to take a look at the station from the outside. Here is the cooling system, and you can see here, oh, it's broken? I'm not sure if that is intentional. It may be intentional to, you know, give these pipes some gas to begin with. And over there we have the same thing for the heating system. So basically diagonally in the... Oh, we can see that even. Cool. See, that's the burst pipe. Yeah. And then that goes over there. Okay, that was superfluous. Excuse me? I cannot remove that? Angle grinder, okay. So we have to print one after all. And this guy, pretty cool idea, I think. But whenever I'm building on the outside, I can just do that. It's a good idea for any station, basically. Except if your waste tank cannot even be removed from your suit for a second before your lungs take damage and such. Which is almost the case here. I need to drink. What are the plants doing? 2 potatoes, 1 potato seeds. Okay. Oh, wait, what? Hold R to clear potato. Wait, what? What? What's happening here? If I harvest a potato plant, why is it saying this will create 1 potato seeds? Oh, I understand. The tooltip is saying clear the potato and then you get the seed back. I don't even know if that's the case. I didn't know that. That's a new thing in my opinion. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. But it doesn't. I don't have a seed now. So, no, that's not what it did. Another thing to bring up in the forum as a bug screenshot. Okay, done. Next. How many seeds do I have? 3 potatoes, that's plenty. Now that we have a better power situation, maybe it would be meaningful to actually print some lights. So I don't have to run around with this stupid thing the whole time. Let's see what light printing costs us. It can even be done with the autolathe. Like cables can also be printed with the autolathe. Silicon, okay. No, silicon is too valuable. Where are we? Is something new here? Where was this? Oh, that's for shredding, okay. Some iron, some copper. Lots of fucking iron already, god damn it. 7 silicon, that's good, okay. And here we have... It's too bad that you cannot look through the hitbox. It's basically, Stationeers is not what Reddit would call hitbox porn. You know, there are some subreddits which are called porn. Like, I mean, they do have a lot of porn subreddits, something I do appreciate. But I mean, they have, you know, like landscape porn, photography porn, astronomy porn. And that means it's just, you know, something... If it would be hitbox porn, then you could say, here I can look at that thing and I would see that correctly, though that would be an unworthy post. So currently I'm seeing this centrifuge, even though I'm pointing at that one. That's a bit annoying. And I think these cycles there could actually be invested, because this is not something that is going on all over the simulation, it's only where you point yourself. Why should there not be some little bit more calculation overhead to do this properly? That would be so nice. Yeah, actually maybe I should just screenshot that too, because it's one of those things that just slip the mind. It's, you just accept it as normal reality, you never talk about it again. Let's bring that up so people think about it more. So we have some gold, iron, copper here, hydrocarbon, yeah. Nothing, some silicon here, but still no... What's this fucking word? The nickel, yeah. So nickel is a problem still. Since I have a pump here already, I could basically... since I'm not using the mining drill indoors, I could actually use this... the volatiles that come out here to fill a canister with volatiles, which I then use for the hydraulic mining drill. I know it sounds completely ridiculous, but then again, does it? So, we would need a valve here, which would then go through the wall and will probably... Do the valves themselves have the capacity to bleed thermal energy? Tell me that. I think not, but let's see. Because they count as a device. That's the pipe network. God damn it. Ah, there's one on... Yeah, okay, let's use this one. Pipe network 22394. Then I'm just seeing the room itself. So the device here doesn't have anything that could bleed. So, but I mean, what am I even saying? Do I want to put the valve into the wall? That's bad. That's not the way it's supposed to be done. Ah, damn. I could put the canister here on the ground, the canister holder, but there's not enough room. It sucks. But let's make one in the first place. Do I still have some stuff left there? I do not, so let's print that. It's just some iron and copper, maybe. Pipe utility, so only iron, nice. Oh my god, that fits. We are very much lucking out here. Great. Okay. A valve, please. Video duration so far, almost 2 hours. That's still a healthy duration. Nope. I've never actually gone so far in a playthrough that I would print like an entire locker full, or at least an entire stack full of pipe cowls, or only one mass playthrough I went so far as to making like 10 active vents and putting them into an overhead locker for such purposes. Because like at some point you're gonna need them, so just go there, take it, move on. So that the task of printing them is not always a part of your activity. Oh crap, I cannot do this from the inside. Or can I? Yep. Alright. So whatever canister I put in there will be connected to the outside. No, it won't be. I have this valve here for that purpose. Okay. Yeah, another pipe cowl to let the oxygen into the room. And then we can test that setup. Looking forward to it. Oh right, we need some filters. I will print 2 volatiles filters to make clear the purpose of that device. We have plenty of iron, so yeah. Ah, I wanted to print 2. Okay, everything has been cabled up, everything has been piped up. I will now do a very short test run, save game. But like I said, very short. What do you have here? Here we have fuel gas, 1 megapascal, 1 kilopascal. And so the filtration unit should then have the effect that in this pipe part we get those volatiles. And here we should have gotten actually oxygen. Okay, so in principle this works. Let's just run for a moment. Let's see what happens here. So 1 kilopascal. I think I could accelerate this by using a pump here on this side, but I'm not sure. 116 liters of water are available here. And how much is in the tank? 89-ish. So this pipe will eventually explode, I think, because, you know... Let's go up to 100 kilopascals and let's see what happens. I didn't know this was so slow, actually. Can this be sped up by using a pump on the input side? Processed input 0.3 moles. And it might actually become slower and slower the higher the pressure is here in this pipe. Though at 100 kilopascals that should not yet matter. So that's a hookah sound, I guess. Anyway, so let's turn on the filtration. Now we have 70 kilopascals. Yeah, I forgot to check the temperature. The water here has a temperature of 10 degrees. On this side we have gas of 20 degrees. Why is the... Wait, what? Why is the temperature in this pipe network exactly the same as in the surrounding environment? Is that a coincidence? I mean, the water that's coming in has 10 degrees. That's different. Weird. I wonder if this can be determined. It's only one... Okay, it's getting warmer, but the pipe is still at the temperature. Why does it get to the temperature? I don't get it. By the way, if anyone wants to use the cheat of carrying around a portable light, put it in your suit, because if the shadow that you're casting depends on where you... Okay, I see there's no difference here, but maybe there's a difference. I think I observed a difference when you're using a portable light. Would be so nice to have some light in here, but I don't have the silicon to make that happen. Shit. Anyway, so what's happening over here? We should be at like 200 kilopascals maybe? 300, alright. And here we have built so far a pressure of 70 kilopascals, which is nothing. does it really have to be this slow? Now we are at 115 liters, so of course we have to consider that our water is going down the tubes here, you know. I will let this keep building, so that hopefully I won't forget it. You know what? Hey Google, wake me in 10 minutes. Yeah, so that thing starts ringing and then I will realize, oh, that was something I want to be reminded of. Okay. Right. So what's the next step? Now we have something that gives us basically infinite oxygen, hypothetically, and also a pump that gives us pressure for the hydraulic mining drill, which pneumatic mining drill, which of course has this already. That is nitrogen, pretty sure. I mean, from the color and such, you know. Yep. How are we doing? Irrelevant. 7 silicon. Yeah. So nickel is really fucking hard to come by. What about the power consumption? How are we doing? Looks fine to me. The more I walk around out there, the more I will have the problem that my oxygen is ticking down. I mean, the only oxygen reserve that I currently have left to refill myself with is this tank right here. That's all. Of course, I have the room. There's plenty of O2 in here, 23.6. And if I, which I won't do, if I flick now this valve, there will be slightly more, I guess. But I'm saying one of the next endeavors to undertake is to make an O2 refilling station. A simple one, I guess, not fully programmed. Can I afford another IC-10? That would define then the complexity I could put into that refilling station. Electrum, solar, steel, 10 gold, actually, 10 gold. 10 gold is plenty, that's too much. So I should keep it very simple, maybe even completely manually operated. Also, I need a kit atmospherics. Can I make one? Whoa. That thing consumes a lot of power, man. I didn't consider that at all. Good thing this burning cable here had the effect of a fuse, as in it interrupted the power enough that lots of the things that were consuming power, which would then lead to more exploding cables, were just no longer powered. So how much power does this thing consume? The electrolyzer? $10 watts. Yeah, base power. That's stupid that we cannot see the actual power here that it uses. Damn it. Is there a solution to that? Well, of course I could use multiple cable networks. But for that I would have to start here, where the river begins, and then lead that to a different place. Can I reasonably do that? Well, here we have some heavy cable, which I could pipe over there through the entire station and have another station battery over here and start a new power network and power these things with that. That's not the most unreasonable thought I've ever uttered, apart from the lots of gold that you need for the heavy cables. Yeah, and the heavy cables I only need because I have this this extreme consumer here, and later then also over there, when I'm using the coal burner. So basically currently I already have infinite fuel. I only haven't electricity, I mean. I just haven't implemented it properly yet. There would have to be a chute there, or even a silo, and some 5-6 lines long or even shorter program that would refill my batteries in case they're ever empty. Which is currently not necessary. I mean, the wind, the storm, that's already doing enough. So how do I do this then? What is that I wanted to print? Another atmos thing. Even turning this on already exploded. It must have been really at the very edge. Too bad I can't afford some silicon. Is there really no silicon out there? You know what? I want to do another tour. I want to find if there's more silicon. Silicon is such a hard fucking problem here. There must be a solution. So let's prepare for a mining run. I should... can I print large batteries? For that I need gold. I need actually... yeah, I should try to get some large batteries. Which need gold. And steel. So 5 gold. Currently I have no gold basically. Copper is fine. And 5 steel. Steel we also have enough of. Then I could also use a large battery charger, which takes 2 gold, which takes 5 gold. I don't have any gold. 8 grams, 2 grams. Okay. Give me all your gold. And maybe, just maybe, I could actually go so far as to printing 2 lights, which is 2 silicon overall, right? That's not too much. Just like I was dealing with the potatoes and the seeds. Something I replant with seeds, something I replant with potatoes, so I'm also slowly building up a stockpile of seeds. The same approach I can use for silicon. Slowly build up the silicon. Music change. No coal. Oh right, I already used that. Stupid me. Where does all that gold, that coal come from that I have in my locker here? Most of that I think was mined by me, because that's the kind of stuff you can still find out there. Has already automatically turned on again, yep. Okay. Could use the mining charges too while I'm out there. Again with the drinking. Oh, wait a second. There was an alarm thing that I had set for myself. Oh, right, I turned this off already. Okay, what's the next step here then? I will... well, let's see. How expensive is it to print a fuse? Five iron, 5 copper. That's fine.
Hydration critical.
so it doesn't have to be turned off. Okay. Yeah, some more batteries would be nice. We have the gold now, I guess. There it is. Wait, do I currently hit 2 songs at the same time? Oh, no, that's Google. Stop! Okay, now turned off. That was a reminder to turn off the pump thing. Large batteries. Oh no, first I wanted to make the charger. And then I can afford 1 large battery, which is not plenty. This thing uses 10 watts constantly, that thing uses 5 watts constantly. Additionally, this one charges with 400 watts per battery, this one with 500 watts per battery, which is of course once again a factor of cable load that needs to be considered. Yeah, and the way I did this here is pretty stupid, because, I mean, the fuse should really be the summary statement, else I might cause cable to burn out here in some corner, and that's still sucky, so. Screwdriver, okay. Could of course also use a transformer that we have 2 prints, which uses resources. And it uses space. That's one of my main problems here. Okay, that is charging. And I want to swap this now with this one. Because that charges with 1000 and also... Yeah, now I have 2 full ones. The drill should be using a heavy battery, definitely, no question. And is there something else that I'm carrying around with me that should have a heavy battery? I don't yet have the arc welder. Can I make the arc welder, by the way? Because, I mean, why waste precious fuel on the welder each time? Tool manufactory, tire 1. Steel, electro, Invar. I don't have Invar because I can't afford to really waste a little bit of nickel I have or do a complete smelting run because of this one thing. Nope.
Hunger caution.
Oxygen check. Oh, right. Good thing I didn't use that. I forgot that I have 2 here. I would just have wasted half my oxygen from that canister there. Although I could just have turned off. That's interesting that you can turn these guys on and they will just pump that empty even though there's no electricity involved, huh? Also, a magical device in principle. Nice temperature. Pure O2. Okay. Sign me up.
Anti-critical.
What? Oh. I think I have everything. My filters are good, my oxygen is good as it can get. I have mining materials, that my drill is full with a large battery. I have some space to carry stuff with me. Maybe I could make another mining belt while I'm at it. How expensive would another mining belt be? Actually, a mining backpack. Mining backpack, that's 6 iron, so it's take one of these. Not that I will need it, but you know. Better sorry than sorry. Okay. We know where to go and what to find. And actually, let's reset those the location of those guys so we have more space on screen. And then go mining. Battery recharging. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but let's do this then, whatever. Should have some more large batteries. Alright. Let's find that elusive silicon somewhere, maybe. Oh, there's water. God damn it, could I please fall down? That would be so helpful, thank you very much. Water is a good thing to have. You can make oxygen from it. So looking forward to the new terrain system with its promising new features. Currently they have already developed it this far that you can stamp 3D objects, 3D shapes into the landscape. Actually, I haven't tested this yet, and I only read the beta changelog, so I don't know if my interpretation is correct. They said stamp 3D objects or stamp 3D shapes. I would say it's shapes because I think there's also a subtraction mode, so that's part of the landscape. You could use some tools to stamp some rocks onto the landscape, and then you use your mining drill or other tools. There's some other landscape shaping tool in the basically the tool kit, tool shed for shaping these new landscapes, new terrains, to make that rock seem unique. But you can also subtract. You can also take an object, a 3D object, and subtract with it. I don't know what file format that is. I'm not proficient in that. I think the name was .obj, so I don't know what format that is. I mean, it's pretty generic an extension, but I guess it's something that, for example, Blender can output. So we can now already create a new terrain based on height maps. That tool exists in Stationeers, just haven't used it yet. One of the reasons that I have used it, but only for testing, that I haven't really used it is that I didn't find a way to use that saved file that supposedly then has the voxelization of that as a world that I could then load and edit and such. But I think that will be pretty much streamlined and easy, and maybe it's already possible and just dumb to do it. That might be the way. So we can make the new terrain based upon height maps, and we can shape the terrain with basically sudden objects. You can make an arc, for example, an arch, or some rocks and so, and stamp them, and you can also subtract them. Maybe take the rock that you already made and subtract from the rock in a corner that same rock, so now the rock that you actually placed looks differently from your standard currently 3D object rock thing. What we can also do already, somehow, I don't know how exactly, but it exists, it's as a demo in the game, is you can define basically something like biomes when it comes to ores. So in the moon demo maps that they have in there, when you say make me a new moon terrain of 4K or 2K size or whatever, the craters will have ices, but the other areas will not have ices, for example, which kind of makes sense. Like the meteorite or the asteroid struck the surface and dug something free that you can now reach. You know, that kind of spirit. That's already in there, and so we can define that also. And so I'm really looking forward to the new terrain when it comes to new, nicely designed planets, and then also knowing you have to climb up that hill and make the journey, get there, even though it's arduous and you would rather be and build down here, but up there is all the gold. That's the only place where you find gold, or that's the only place where you can reasonably find enough gold instead of going through too much work all the time. See, there's some stuff here, but it's not the stuff we want. What again was in nitrites other than nitrous oxide? I think it was nitrogen. Nitrous oxide, nitrogen. So yeah, useless. We have nitrogen in the atmosphere, nitrous oxide. Oh, wait a second. Oh, stop the press. Nitrous oxide, we seem to be having a plenty here. And what does that contain? Well, it's well, from a chemical perspective, molecularly, it contains oxygen. And certainly there's a way for us to extract that. One of them, for example, being we can use that nitrous oxide to have burning processes with volatiles. Volatiles are free in the atmosphere. Then we will get CO2. CO2 can be converted by the plants. But maybe there are even better ways than that. Okay, let's expand the rendering. Oh! Silicon! Locked out. Safe. Yeah, due to the high pressure, mining is slightly risky here, because Rocketworks still has this stupid crap going on that, I mean, if you dig here, then the soil will vanish into nothing. So magically, more volume is created that now exists. That volume has to be filled. With what will it be filled? With the atmosphere that streams in from the planet. Once everything has been equalized, all of that will just become the standard atmosphere reference again. So there's no more atmospheric simulation really going on in detail. But anyway, that means that suddenly there will be a vacuum-ish situation, and in a very high pressure environment like this one, you will be tossed around, which everybody knows who has already played on Venus, which is one of the worlds available in the standard Stationeers package. So that's stupid that the soil just vanishes into nothing. I think when you dig here, the soil should just be replaced with the planetary atmosphere. You know, that would be the solution. I mean, if the exact volume that you displace here, which you're displacing, you're just, you know, it's vanishing into nothing. That should just be replaced directly in place with planet atmosphere, and that would solve that problem, of course, and that will have to happen before the version 1.0, you know. It's otherwise completely unacceptable that you're being tossed around just by drilling. It doesn't fly, man. Nope. I mean, that people would say, yeah, maybe it is reasonable because that's another challenge, dude. And on the other hand, you would say the water that's coming out of the furnace should not be actually polluted water, right? Because that would make it too complex or whatever. Let's just make everything as realistic as possible while at the same time balancing it out for gameplay fun. Now, is it gameplay fun if drilling destroys your spacesuit? No. Is it gameplay fun that you have to engineer that the water that's coming out of your furnace is not actually water but polluted, soiled with other stuff? Yes, that is gameplay fun. It's an engineering game. I think we have exhausted the silicon here, but yeah, that's very good. We have some silicon. There. But, you know, there's something I wanted to say earlier. I wonder how they started developing this, apart from this idea of making a Space Station 13 first-person 3D thing. I wonder if maybe they also thought, you know what, let's just put a thing in and simulate it as realistic as we can reasonably do, while also not forgetting that there will be more things that will have to be simulated, and also so that it kind of scales, if there's more of that going on, more room boxes and such. And by the way, I find it pretty off-putting that the rooms have a maximum size. Okay, I can accept that, but that this size is basically not known. I think the number tossed around was 1,100 boxes or such, but that's the thing. That's significant. I mean, you're building, and all of a sudden it's like, no, this no longer works, and you're not even being told. You're only experiencing that in the simulation. That's a break of the immersion, and it's also pretty much sabotaging our engineering efforts. That needs to be a number that is known somehow, displayed. I don't know. Iron. Well, we have enough iron. Let's not waste plenty of inventory space and battery and time in getting that. Silicon. More lucking out. I mean, I as a programmer do like to toy around with ideas like that, to basically say, okay, let's make a coffee maker. I mean, in a game you might say, well, let's put the grounds in and maybe the electricity, you connect that and you're done. But it would be fun to actually simulate that there's a plate that needs to be heated, which will then make the water ascend or boil and so forth, even though that might not actually be experienced. But it will be fun to implement, and it will also be something that, if you play that and you know of the depth of this implementation, will make that feel real. You will have fun playing with that, even though it's kind of the same thing like in any other game where that would be just winged. Like this game also has some things that are just winged. The magical device, for example, of the jetpack, and other magical devices that were in the game but have by now been removed, replaced, improved, like for example the portable scrubber and particularly the portable AC, which was way overpowered and now instead uses a working gas. That's awesome, that's fun, and I wonder if they did that. And I mean, I'd like there to be more of that stuff, real things. You know, the microwave has kind of a real feel a bit, because you have to turn it on, you have to close it and all of that, but it's kind of too space tech, you know, that there would be an arrow printed showing when you don't close it, when in reality, I mean when in our current reality, microwave doesn't turn on when you haven't closed it, and everybody is aware of that because microwave radiation is pretty much bad for you. You know, that's why there is this shield in front whose holes are well, hook into the microwave radiation wavelength and therefore make it impossible. It's a Faraday cage thing. Power critical, not a problem. Let's just swap this battery with that one, because 9% is plenty for the need that we have for the tablet during this mining run. So it's a good thing that now we have some large batteries. How many do I have? Well, that's the third one in the drill. Something I should also have an eye on. And then we have some small batteries, not a problem. Yeah, very funny. No more stuff here. I know there's something over there, right next here, but I mean this cluster, is it over? God damn it, man, we have 2 full stacks of that. That's awesome. I think we should install some lights once I get back. Immediately. Okay, there's nothing here. Where's the other one? Or did I actually dig over to the other one? Oh, I think I did. I already took all of it. Ah, shit. I think we're still going nicely, so let's keep going. Safe. Would also be cool to find some gold out here. Water is also welcome. Yeah, I don't think we have to fear the oxygen problem, because all of the water, with enough patience and enough electricity, that's one of the problems we're having, in the power streaming through that cable, will give us enough, with the water will give us enough oxygen, yeah. And water to drink also. So that problem is technically solved. I have a full rucksack full of water and well, not that much, yeah. But I'm now thirsty and I have to go back soon. Funny. More water, okay. Yeah, why not? Silicon-wise, this run was quite a success already. I would like more of it, of course. I mean, water seems to be here aplenty. But silicon is still hard to find, and I didn't find any gold either. Copper. I have enough copper, let's not waste time on that. And yeah, I have enough water. It's getting a bit crowded in here. What else is there? Is it really all? Nitrites, water, volatiles, the occasional silicon, coal of course, some iron. Nothing else to be found. Nickel, for example. That would be really, really good if I could just find a bunch of nickel here. That's actually not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to, you know... Ah, fuck.
Temperature critical. Toxin detection. Toxin critical. Oxygen critical. Power low. Toxin critical. Toxin critical. Oxygen critical.
Okay, where did I get these 10 pills, for those who haven't watched all the episodes? Since this suit getting damaged thing is pretty much a bug, because it's completely unrealistic behavior, and I mean it's not unrealistic as in it's not real enough, no, it's just stupid that you're walking out here and your mining action just deletes you, kills you basically. I just thought, you know what, this is not fun, I would just spawn a stack of pills and take them then as needed. Because if I'm not as fast like I just was repairing the suit, then the lungs will be damaged from the pollutant and the cold in the suit when it leaks. And then you have that in addition to that. That just doesn't fly, man. No nickel, no silicon, no nothing. Curving back to the station. So we can see that my health is being displayed up down there at the food and water. With 100%, which means that my lungs are not damaged. Oh, gold! Don't mind if I do, huh? That was all. 14 gold, nothing more. Wow. Yeah, by the way, if you think Merck did its stupid thing here or are judging this in the first place, like I said in his videos, this has mountains, you know, or these hills. So the way he implemented that is not compatible with the current version of Stationeers. But still fun enough, I mean, you know, so. And I should ask YouTube how often I said you know in this video. I would guess 20 times. You know? Yeah, I don't know what these slowdowns are. Might be terrain calculations or maybe something my machine is doing because I'm not exactly rebooting and playing this naked. I bought a pretty beefy machine a few years back and so I mean I want the convenience, so I have lots of programs open and I don't reboot my machine, I just go to hibernate, which means that you can indeed power off and unplug the machine and transport it, and then you plug it in again, you turn it on again, and then you have the same state that you had when you left, you know, restoring everything. Every program and so forth. One of the reasons is, well, I have a few programs open. I don't want to go through that effort to open them all again and place the windows on the right desktops. I have 3 desktops, and so that would be pretty annoying to do. Lead. I would take that. Too important. Too rare. Right. One thing led to another. Yeah, and also, I mean, Microsoft, they introduced this multiple desktop thing, right? I'm not saying they invented it, lol, no, of course not, motherfuck, nay, no. But, I mean, at some point they said, okay, let's give Windows naturally multiple desktops, which it has been having since Windows 10, I think. Now we had on 11, right? So, and Chrome, for example, when you start it, the browser by Google, will open all its windows on the desktop where they have been closed. I mean, one window was here, one window was there, and that's where they will be reopened, except some won't, some will not. Some will open on the wrong desktop. That is, of course, retarded and completely unacceptable, because we're just talking about a number. One number, a simple byte or integer number that was too much asked to implement correctly. That was too much asked to do right. God fucking damn it, man. But the Explorer itself, you know, the file Explorer, we can see the files in Windows. One way to do it, not the best way to do it. That one does not open on the respective desktop where it was when Windows was closed. And that's one of the key applications that you use in Windows, and it's even from Microsoft. It's a key part, a core part of the Windows experience, you know. It is ridiculous that one of the worst parts of Windows is the windowing system, isn't it? So we're back, and that's the airlock. Nice. No, it's the backside. I cannot go in the backside. That's not good. So let's go here. And turn off the terrain, basically. So we have a high frame rate again. Okay. Looking good. Didn't use the mining charges. again. So what are the plants doing? Seeds, seeds, seeds. Yeah, fine. Oh, let's leave it in there, why not? Okay. Battery, how are we doing? It's full, nice. Very cool. So let's print some lights then, which we can now afford to print. I will print 2, put them up, see what it looks like, where we need more light, and then print some more. Could have used the electronics printer. So, how are we doing water-wise? Oh, I could now make my cable analyzers. Let's do those first, which of course need the electro printer, so I should really have printed those lights with the fucking electro printer. And I wanted to make some LEDs, didn't I? To show the station pressure needs gold, okay. What? Oh right, okay. Everything's fine now. Just thought I had accidentally printed lights instead. So incoming we have 1,500 watts. No, actually... No, the potential is 2,300 watts. If I see that correctly. And here, the power that we have indoors that's currently being used is 1,500 watts. That's pretty much a lot. Why is it so much? Well, I think the centrifuges consume quite a lot. 100? Yeah. So we have these 80 or so watts, I think, 1, 2, 300, 500 for that guy, so we had almost 1,000. Yeah, that kind of makes sense, I guess. Lights, let's put them up. Should it be in this on the ceiling or on the wall? I think the ceiling would be better. Use my go-to lights, the biggest ones, which are not brighter than others, but they are whiter than others when you look at them. Pure white that doesn't need... This is not a surface that asks for illumination pixels. It is itself just white when the thing is on, so it gives it a feeling as if things are brighter. And that's why I don't carry around these portable lights, which make everything pleasantly bright wherever you are. Because that completely stifles your emotional desire to have actual lighting. Also, the lighting in Stationeers feels very moody, I think. Has a very strong emotional component to it. Well, this seems like a good place for a light. How do I get electricity here? Cannot go there, because that might ultimately be changed. So that has its own... Well, I can go there, of course. But could that be the same power network? Not sure. This, by the way, is to open the centrifuges, all of them. I can go through there, I think. Yep. And I should print a few cables. Nice. So much better. But is it enough for working? Well, I can see what I'm doing here. So yeah, that seems enough. Here. There should be another light here. And we have power. Nice. What the fuck, man? I was enjoying that fucking track, and that's exactly when the stream cuts out. I swear there's a conspiracy against me. Reality-wide, worldwide. No. I don't swear that. That would be ridiculous. And everybody knows... Well, it's an interesting thought, isn't it? Well, there's a conspiracy against me worldwide. And then the response to that is, dude, everybody knows that's wrong. Ah, well, that would be wrong indeed. So, it feels much better, man. Now it needs to turn on automatically, so you know, we are not wasting resources or electricity on that too much. Also, we definitely need some light here. Pretty funny that you can use up cables faster than they're being printed. Yeah, the furnace room also needs some lighting. So we're not done just yet. Let's make 2 more. If need be, we can automate the solid fuel generator to top up the battery and at some point build some more upright wind turbines. But I already have a sensor, so I can use that then. For when I'm at home. Where could I place that reasonably? Is that chip here placed well? Should it be put here instead? Does this have a name? No. So I could just cut it out, put it here. Sounds good, I want to do that. Good thing we don't yet have an active cooling solution in here. Or heating. Which might then get stuck pumping and pumping while I'm transporting the chip, completely unaware of what fucking catastrophe I just caused. By the way, save. Why should this be the place where it crosses over? Isn't there a better way to do this here, for example? Okay. This could though be a proximity sensor when I'm coming and programming here at the PC. So the indoor sensor, weather home, you know, that should be in a different place. Not here, because it's already cramped. This is a place that I will seek out often. Oh, look at that, that was a nice timing. So that's a good place to put it, so that I'm aware that I have this thing going on and where it is. Could have a third row of plants here. No. Occupancy. Occupancy. And still the scrolling is very, very slow, the scrolling. Even though it would only take one little multiplier to change. Rocketworks, what are you doing? Load batch into R0 from all structure occupancy sensor, whether it is activated and some. Then, okay, I will eventually be able to type this 3-character word. Write batch to all hash structure light long wide on based upon R0. Export. Okay, that wasn't useful. IC housing. Export. Okay, that is solved. Which means though that whatever light I might be putting in here would have to be separate. It would have to have its own sensor, if it's sensor based. Where's the light? There it is. Why is there another one of these? Was one of these full and spat stuff out? I don't think so. Do we have some nickel? Of course we don't. Why should we have nickel? I mean, that would be ridiculous. Huh.
Hydration critical.
Right, that is also being controlled by that same sensor. I wonder if I should just add, you know, a similar sensor to this room also, but then I would have to OR them to... Well, no, I can just pull all from all of them and say, give me the maximum. If any of these is triggered, all the lights are on. That's the solution. Let's make 2 more sensors. Do I have the gold for that? Also, of course, I would like to make a console so that we can finally see the indoor temperature. Maybe that's the first thing I should do, because that means that we need 3 sensors now. 1 occupancy, one motion, I mean, actually, yeah, I could use a motion sensor here. When I'm in this grid, that's never, oh god damn it, that's, oh man, I'm stupid. In every playthrough where I had an automated PC, I was using a proximity sensor, which was then awkwardly placed behind and the distance was set to blah 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 blah. But when the fuck does the PC have to be on? If it's placed like this, then certainly when I'm in this square. Yeah, sure, and that is the motion sensor. So we need 3 sensors, but first, let's see if I can make the console. What does it take? 3 gold, okay. How much does a sensor cost? Basically nothing, okay. Console. So I could now make 2 of these. If I make 3... Oh, 3, I can make 3 of these. Would be a big display. Which I could put here on this wall. Yeah, good thing. Okay, let's make a big fucking display. Console. I mean, the next level is too high, isn't it? Next level is stupidly inside of the ceiling. But also turn that off when I'm not in the station, but let's not do that. Also, what if I'm on the roof and then I peek inside and think, god damn it, I forgot that. Color, well, maybe the color should depend on the temperature. That's an option. But let's not go there right now, so let's just call that, let's just go for red then. And then we have to have the setting. And that setting should come from one of the sensors that we have here. One would be the occupancy sensor, no, the motion sensor. One would have to be the temperature sensor. Do I have a temperature sensor somewhere already in this station? I think not, because I have no automation going on. Later though, I would have these doors, so maybe putting the sensor here is not the unwisest thing. Didn't I make 3? I thought I made 3. I didn't make 3. 914. Difference between 9 and 14 is 5. One sensor takes 1 gold. And now I have 2 gold left, which is 3. Yeah, I think it fits. So let's change that instead of sum we say maximum. Didn't expect myself to ever use that. I mean, no, that's not true, but but I never used it so far. That's what I mean. So this should mean that it will now be on. Okay. And then we have this one. Which I can then use to turn on and off the computer. Not sure if that's the right term, let's see. It is. If I would put these on the ceiling, that would be a bit more, you know, but my stations are always awkward. And then we have the indoor gas sensor, but before I go there, which is a bit more complex, I wanna eat and drink. Driving. This sensor has no name yet. What? I wanted to copy that. There's no undo. Oh, god damn it! I don't understand, man. I think I cut that out. Sense gas indoor. Copy. Alright. Sense gas is something that is used often, so let's define it. And then we want to show the temperature on the LED display. On the LED, yeah. Liquid emitting, light emitting diode. Oh yeah, it's a LED display. Hey, what the fuck am I doing? But I want Celsius, so let's subtract into R0 from R0 273.15. What is it I wanna load? I wanna know the temperature, sum, and up here I have to change that. Okay, and now we should have a proper temperature display. Aha. Okay. A good thing that I made such a big one. It's an interesting level of equilibrium that we have in here. Down to 3 digits beyond the decimal point. Nothing is changing. I mean, most of the time. So it's cooling down very slowly. Interesting, 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 and interesting. And it is also interesting. Yo, okay, well, let's shut down this episode. I think we achieved quite a lot. One thing is we now finally have indoor lighting. Could be a bit more, but oh, definitely this one could be wired up too. Haha, I forgot this. Let's do this now. So we have indoor lighting. We have fuel supply. Well, it's not really a fuel supply, but we have it connected to the furnace, so we can just do furnacing now. When it comes to fuel, we don't have to use volatiles, oxide, or whatever. We can just pipe that in straight away. We did a successful mining run, which gave us a relatively significant amount of what's its face, silicon. We now have an indoor temperature display. The lights turn on and off automatically when we leave the station. We have set up the station battery. We have a fuse to protect the indoor grid from overload, which is only a patch, of course. It's not really the right solution, but it's better than nothing. We have lots of ice, which I could, some of which I could now let go shred, you know. That would be something to do. Yeah, the sound is broken. Already reported that, but maybe they even fixed that already. Hey, what's happening? Oxygen low? Oh, I see. Okay, what's happening is we're kind of living on the edge here when it comes to the ratio of oxygen. But this thing excretes nitrogen. Over here we have 20% oxygen. Over here we have 21% oxygen. So we're living on the edge, and so when I do this, we get more nitrogen. Which means then we don't have enough oxygen. So liquid is increasing, nitrogen too, so something has to be done about the station pressure and nitrogen filtration and whatever, but not now. Let's wait until this thing is relatively empty. We have housed the plants a few times. There is an automatic computer turn on and off. We have an actual fuel gas production going on, technically. I mean, currently I'm just wasting that away because I don't want to, you know, just wanted the oxygen. So that's happening, but we have power system problems, and I need to set up a device that will fill my oxygen canister from the air here in the station. So that's something that's missing. Also of note, I think this was about at 6 megapascals up here when I did my mining run. Now it's at 3, so yeah, that's certainly one of the key concerns. That is enough, I think. Maybe I should write that down for next time. So the first thing we want to do is so that's one of the things, yeah. Then we have to actually do the smelting. We haven't done that a lot. Yep, that's it. That's it for today. See you next time.